So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another interview with the Chill Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector. And tonight I have Elijah. He's in the band Gazer, and they're a band that mixes uh, black metal with shoegaze, like a black gaze type of thing, and some alternative rock to it. And they released an album back in November 11th. It's called The Long Goodbye, and we're here to talk about it. So, first of all, how are you tonight, Elijah?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So yeah, I found out about your band because I there's another YouTuber that I collaborate with, Matt with the Iasable, and he reviewed your album, and I saw his review. I'm like, yeah, this sounds
hmm
interesting. So I checked it out, and I'm like, yeah, I would like to talk to the band about this record. So tell me a little bit about the. Obviously, you're a newer band. You released a few standalone singles in 2022. There's one called
hmm
Pines that's not on this record, but there is a song called Mara that is part of this record. And this is a record that you put out a few weeks ago. Tell me a little bit about Gazer, like about what the band is all about.
Yeah, I mean it's just me. Right now I just started making music like um the the part in Milk and Honey, like uh the intro part. Most of that song really was written back in 2021 while I was still in college, and I just kept on writing music with the purpose of eventually releasing it within this album. Like I had the concept for this album and how it was going to be mapped out in my head for quite a long time. And I just finally finished it. And yeah.
Yeah, so you do everything on this album. Tell me a little bit about what you do on what you know what, the instruments that you play on this.
Yeah, I play guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, vocals, and I mix and do all of that
So
just just in my bedroom.
it's everything yourself. So yeah, it's got a lot of like the elements that we said. So and this basically it's your brainchild. Tell me a little bit about like you were discussing like themes. What type of themes you
hmm
covered in this record?
Um, it just kind of like what I've experienced and maybe learned uh like just growing up uh and like I'm 22, like I'm not too old, but just stuff that I've just learned and experienced. Like a few of the songs are about my grandma who passed away from dementia. So just stuff like that. Just stuff I've learned over time.
Okay. So there's a lot of like personal
And
songs that you discuss on this record then.
it's just personal experience.
So you have, like personal songs regarding to dementia with your grandmother. So it's a very personal record for you because you're doing everything. Uh, so the title of the record, which I think is interesting, being the long goodbye, is that a reference maybe to your grandmother?
Yeah. When I was in college, I had a professor, and he said something about life being just a long goodbye, and I basically just took it from him.
Okay. Yeah, but I figured, like listening to it, uh, musically, there's a lot of like different styles in this. So,
hmm
Elijah, which I saw that you put like a playlist on Spotify, like of different bands. I saw like Nothing. I saw some I saw some different bands that Holy Phone. So I saw like a lot of like those bands that do that style. Tell me a little bit about the type of music that. that got you into this style of music?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I'd say my biggest inspirations are Deaf Heaven, Deftones, and Have a Nice Life. I feel like they just show up more within my sound than anything else, like super
Yeah,
heavily. But I also really enjoy hardcore music and like punk and stuff.
yeah,
And I try to
definitely.
I try to shoe that in there some places too.
Yeah, definitely in the song Asedia, or I don't know if I said it correctly. That one really reminded me of Deftones. Uh, but yeah, I heard some
Hmm.
Death Heaven in there, especially Asedia in like the type of riffing. So you doing this yourself? How long did the process to make this record took you?
Um, it's obviously not like the only thing I do, but I guess it took me about 3 years just from like the first concept of one of the songs to it being done. About 3 years.
Okay. So when you're working on this music, what do you work on first? Like doing like being doing different instruments. Like what like maybe what is the skeleton of the song that you like to begin when you're working on tracks?
It's definitely just messing around on guitar. I might listen to a song and hear something that I want to try to recreate the feeling of, maybe. Um, Sometimes like with the the song Milk and Honey, I don't really know where that came uh on Logic, and the one of the modulation effects did that, and I just did that little arpeggio thing, and I like it just ended up being that entire song.
Yeah, that's a
Just
cool
little
one.
guitar
Yeah,
parts. Hmm.
yeah. And the vocals in the album are pretty. There are a lot of like shoegazy elements, but like those black metal elements in some of the tracks. So it's a combination of different styles. The artwork is really interesting as well. Let me show the artwork, and we can talk about the artwork a little bit. You can tell me like what you were thinking with this. So tell me a little bit about the inspiration for this artwork.
Yeah, I was visiting my grandma while she was in the nursing home, and we were outside, and I was just trying to think of anything else, and that bee like just was flying around, and I got it to land on my finger, and I took a picture of it, and then uh I edited it, like the image, to like match the color of my guitar.
Nice. So it's a picture that you took, and so yeah, it's pretty like interesting. Uh, interesting cover. And when I see it, I don't know exactly like what type of music I'm going to
Hmm.
be listening to. But I think it's what struck you a lot about this image for you?
Um, I personally think it looks a little bit peaceful, but also just just kind of creepy.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe just kind of weird, um, and surreal, like almost like dreamlike. So yeah, it doesn't like entirely reflect the sound of the record, but the moment where it came from is definitely um like relevant to what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's a cool picture, and I think it's something that when you look at it, it's interesting to look at and think about like what does it represent. So yes, it's a cool album artwork. So the band name Gazer, uh, is there a meaning behind the band name for you?
No, I was just trying to come up with anything, and that one, I guess, was like all I could come up with at the time that wasn't really taken. So
Okay. So in the band picture that you took, there's someone else in the picture. Did he contribute something to the album
yeah,
or?
he's the name on the interlude. I played that part with him.
Mhm.
He definitely, like, I send all the music to him and he listens to it, and like, so in that way it's like collaborative. Um and but like I write everything. I share it. I just share it with him. Um and he, like, if he didn't live somewhere else, he would be in the band because he plays drums, and he also tests whether or not the drums that I wrote are possible to play.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So when you're in writing mode, uh, like what's your writing process for the lyrics?
Oh, um, I usually just decide it's time to write lyrics, and so I just sit somewhere and listen to the song over and over and over, just constantly, and try to come up with melodies and fit words in that uh words that I want to say in the amount of syllables that would sound good with the melody. It's it's all like personal experience and stuff. Um, so it's like always just on my mind, I guess. But just trying to fit it into a song.
Okay. You work on the music, that you like the music and then you listen to it and then you come up with like the words that would fit the music that you just worked on, correct? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh
the thing is I know exactly what concepts every
mhm.
song is gonna be before, like, all the songs had titles before the
Okay.
um the lyrics came, except for Try was called something else until I
Yeah.
wrote the lyrics.
That was one of the most like aggressive tracks on the record.
Yeah,
Try, it's very like very industrial, metal sounding, like very noisy. Uh, and plus you have the interlude, which is a way to ease into the other tracks. For you, in was there like writing these personal lyrics? Was it a way to like cathartic for you to like a healing process of what you have been through in your personal life?
yeah, I think so, because just the way life goes, I don't know a lot of people right now that were around when that stuff was happening to me. So it's just a way to express, like, my feelings towards this person who, like, they'll never meet. Um and just to show, like, how much I cared for them.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's something very personal that you do for yourself, but you're sharing with the world. Is there a song on the album for you that maybe was harder to work on? Maybe like not the music, but maybe with the lyrics or themes.
Yeah, I mean, Acedia came last. Um uh like, I don't know. It's kind of tough to like, because that song's like admitting that on, like, the spiritual side, and so it's just kind of tough to kind of admit that and try to work through that.
Okay. So obviously, this has been a project that it's being mostly by yourself. What are plans that you have with Gazer? Do you want to like bring more people into the fold, maybe for a future release or to play this music live? Like, you know what? Like, what are you looking to, to take the band in?
I would love to play live, and um like I definitely have more songs that will get released um in the future, like over the next year or so. Um
Mhm.
but I would really enjoy playing live. Just the thing about where I am, not a lot of people who are into that kind of music or even could play it,
Okay, so yeah, so it's
especially the drums.
yeah, that's something I've talked to a lot of bands, and getting drummers is something like that. It's really hard. Like you doing all this instrument. Is there an instrument that you enjoy playing the most?
Guitar.
The guitar.
It's what I pick up first every time.
Okay. Uh, so yeah, so you're basically obviously like you like to. I know that before this you had a song Pines that's not on this record. So I'm guessing that for next year you want to put like some standalone singles as well.
Hmm.
Are the standalone singles not this, they don't
Yeah.
have like
So like
they don't
Pines
follow the
has like
Mhm. Sorry, Pines has?
um yeah, yeah, Pines has that tone, and it's in a lower tuning. And so the next song I'll release is what we call Sleeper One. And it's gonna have that same kind of tone, and it'll be like one of three parts that'll come out. Um and it'll have more of like, it'll be like a doomy, like slow um kind of thing.
Okay. So you worked on this. Where did you record this? Did you record this all in your house? Tell me a little bit about the recording process that obviously took you 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I recorded it right here, just
okay.
in my bedroom.
Okay. So yeah. So you recorded it yourself. Uh, I'm guessing it must feel very gratifying where you can put something out that it's basically you worked on everything on this record and all the themes. Uh, I know the record follows like a flow. Like does every song follow like a story or not necessarily? Because you have like a song like Dying Song, and then you follow it with Dying Sun, which is pretty close in the title.
Hmm.
And then you end the record with
Yeah.
like you have never got to say and the long goodbye, which is like an 11-minute epic track. So it goes through peaks and valleys. So is the structure of the record like a storytelling? Is it in chronological order?
N- um, no, it's like the first song, like The Expanse, that's about like not wanting someone to leave, and then like the rest of the songs up until Dying Sun, and then the last two
Hmm.
are just about random stuff, and then like those four songs are about in some way my grandma.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, they follow like a pattern per se. Uh So yeah, I think it's it's a cool record, and basically this is a record that I'm glad that I got to listen to. Uh, right now, what are like the immediate plans that you have for the project for Gazer?
I just want to see where this takes me, like what kind of new people hear it. Like I've already like gotten, it feels like I've gotten like a few more fans. Um, and just getting people to listen is the hardest thing, really. Um, but I'll release more music, and if I can get people to um play with me, I'll play live around the St. Louis area. in Missouri,
Yeah. And
but there's
obviously,
nothing super planned out.
okay. So yeah, so you're basically now obviously this is a record that is self-produced. It's only out digitally. So can people buy this on Bandcamp? So they can buy
Oh,
it on Bank.
I'm honestly not sure how to do that.
Oh, okay.
Eventually it might
Mhm.
be. I just don't know how to
Okay.
to do all that. But it's on
Mm.
iTunes to be purchased if that's something people do. But
Yeah.
eventually it might be on Bandcamp. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. I don't know either. But yeah, so if people want to support you and Gazer, like where can they follow you?
On Instagram, I have a TikTok. I don't really post anything there, but I'll probably start doing that. I think it's both of them are just the band Gazer. Um, and then just keep on looking out for new music when it comes.
Okay. So yeah, you're just take it in. Are you so are you constantly writing new music?
Kind of.
Kind
There's
of.
like another project that I do that like is definitely more of a hardcore thing that doesn't have anything out. It's just conceptual and like
Okay.
it has like a bunch of music written for it, but I don't know when it'll exist.
Okay. So obviously you mentioned before that you're really into Def Heaven and Deftones. Any favorite albums from those two bands?
Um, Sunbather from Death Heaven and Around the Fur from um Deftones.
Yeah, those are good choices. So before I
Those are
let
my favorites from there.
yeah, those are great albums. So before I let you go, Elijah, like uh when people this is a question that I don't ask a lot of people, but what do you want like the listener to get out when they're listening to this album by Gazer, The Long Goodbye?
I would just like them to feel like some sort of emotion to it. I put a lot of emotion into it, and so I'd like them to get something out of it personally. Um, I don't know why the lyrics haven't shown up on Spotify. They're posted on Apple Music, but I don't think they show up. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but
No,
I can't
yeah,
get them on
they weren't showing the
Spotify. But
lyrics. No, when I was listening to it.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
I don't know how that,
they're on
but
uh,
so they should
they're
go.
on Apple Music.
Okay, so people can if you wanna like go the lyrics on Apple Music. So yeah, maybe you never know technology. So Elijah, I want to thank you for taking some
Mhm.
time of your night to chat with me. I'll post the album review that my friend Matthew from Diasable Reviews did on your record, so people can watch his review because he
Mhm.
did a great, excellent review, really talking about all the tracks. So I'll put his review on it. But I'm glad to talk with you and get more people to listen to the record. So uh, anything else you'd like to say before we leave tonight?
I appreciate you wanting to do this. I'm just some guy in the middle of nowhere, Missouri, so it's cool to like have a reach.
Yeah, that's
So thank you for this.
yeah. I'm just a dude over here in Puerto Rico. So Couchers, the band Gazer, The Long Goodbyes, the album. So I would recommend this to people who like uh, Black Gaze. If you like Def Heaven, Deftones, and music that we talk to, like listen to Gazer. And now, obviously, we know more about like the background of this record and the lyrics being very personal record that a lot of people that have people with mental health issues can relate to. So until next time, couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.